it's an interesting question. I think this thing about top four codexes because there's another thing as well where like it depends on who you play. You know, as a Chaos Demons currently Chaos Demons are my favorite.
Mm,
Um, I don't want to face Admech. I don't want to face Drakari. I don't want to face Tau. I don't want to face Eldari. I don't want to face anything that has a gun. Realistically, uh, um, so you know it's all good, but I would still put Drakari up there. I just think they potentially haven't found the true spice yet. Um, It's still
yeah.
untested at the moment. The new codexes haven't had a lot of play. Yeah, I mean the Tower going to surprise everyone this weekend, right?
Well, I was going to say it'll be interesting to have a look, and maybe I can do it now. In between trying to sort out the audio on my channel because I'm apparently an idiot. Like we can have a look at how the Bournemouth, the Beachhead Brawl in Bournemouth turned out because that is, a major, and I think, oh, okay, well, I can give you the top four if that would help.
Yeah. Tau Tau Custodes.
Absolutely correct. Deathwatch in
Yeah.
fifth. Deathwatch in fifth. It was piloted by Mike Costello, who is both a lovely guy, Vanguard Tactics, and also the number one Deathwatch player in the world. So kind of understandable that he's really good.
Yeah. Rich says I think Tau, Eldar, and maybe Nids will change up what the meta looks like. Now, uh, I'm inclined to believe him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think Eldar will have a huge impact because I
Mm,
think people are going to dig out all of those non-Alatok armies that they had. um, and been one of the Hemlock Wraith fighters and been one of the Crimson Hunter Exarchs. But
mm.
apart from that, they're going to dig out all of those. I mean, they've seen the rules for the Phoenix Lords. They're very cool. Um, going to see them all over the place now. Jane
Yes,
Zar
yeah,
in
yeah,
particular,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
um, which is cool. And also, again, I'm finding um, I'm finding auto take named characters almost a little bit weary now.
Yeah, well, you've got a Trajan Valoris, right, for the Custodes. Morven Val for
Yeah.
the sisters, or she was. I mean, she's gone up in points now, so I don't think maybe she is quite as good as she used to be. Um, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. There's some of these. The Tyranids will be interesting, right? Because they don't really have any named characters as such. We got the Swarm Lord. That's about it. There are named characters in the book, but they're just rubbish. There's like the Red Terror, and then there's various other. I mean, there's theories on what this new Tyranid model is going to look like as well, which they previewed, or sorry, what it's going to be. Because a lot of people think that's going to be the oh god, what is it called? It's like the Terror of something. I can't remember, but it's like a winged sort of a winged version of one of the lictors, I think. So yeah, be interesting to see if we get that.
Was there who came first? Was it Tau or was it Custodes?
Well, according to this, it is Tau. It was so at the top. The top. I'll run down the top 10. So we had Alex Harrison with Tau, Vic VJ with Tau, Ben Jones Custodes, Vince Chandler Custodes, Mike Costello with Deathwatch, Manny Chima's Tyranid list, Dan Bates Custodes, Jack West Custodes, Ed Watts Custodes, and Jay Seaburan Custodes. And then 11th was a Tau, another Tau player. So basically, of the top 10, one, two, three, four. A full five of the top 10 were Custodes lists.
Hi, Mike's Painted Mini. Yeah, there's a lot of Custodes out there.
There's a
This
lot
is
of
what I mean.
Custodes.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
people thought it was a bad book because it lost the three pin font. And you and I were saying when the book came out, we went, "This book's really good."
yeah. But what people did was exactly what they always do, right? Which is, and it's the same thing they did for the Sisters book. So when the book changes, when stuff gets side grades, when stuff is it 6 out of 10? Hang on, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, actually, I can't count. It is 6 out of the top 10 at Custodes. But when stuff takes side grades, everybody whines about it. So I played Sisters all last kind of ITC season was Sisters for me, and
Yeah.
I remember when the Sisters Codex came out, and obviously Sisters were a very very powerful army. everybody went mental about the fact that Repentia had lost their native advance and charge. That you had to use a Repentia Superior. Sorry, wait, was it native or was it a strat? I can't quite remember. But either way, they lost it, and you were looking at a strat. You were looking at having a Repentia Superior to do it, to put the ability on them, and everybody went crazy on that. But then it was like she also gives them like +1 to wound as well, like close up. So what you're worried about, they're really good. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Well, Dan here has said, still Tau came first and second. I've not watched a battle rep that they've lost yet.
Oh, yeah, no, I'd agree with Dan, yeah. The Tau are ridiculous. I think what you're seeing at Beachhead is a good example where people just didn't have the armies ready, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, we can look at the winning list. I mean, I think that's always interesting. Can I see the winning list? Let's go back to pairings.
Be interested to see if there is a hammerhead in there.
Right, I have to log into my Best Coast account, so just give me a second, and I will find it.
Dark Angels beat Tau on Tabletop Titans last night. There you go.
Yeah. So that was Adam Camilleri, who's one of the Art of War guys. Well, he's like their Australian branch of Art of War, and I watched a bit of that today. It was a very interesting game, and he had a very aggressive, like largely Raven Wing list, I think, or. I think he had a block of Terminators actually, so maybe it was mixed. But he played it very well, and also I think, to be fair, Adrian didn't have any crisis suits. He had like a Riptide, which is not quite as, it's still very good, but not quite as good as it used to be. He had quite a few Kroot who are good, but I don't think it was like an optimized list. It was there to as Dan says in the chat quite rightly. It was I wouldn't say a weird list. It was a fun list. It was a list designed to make it fun to kind of watch along, which it was, to be fair.
One long strike and no hammerheads between the top two lists. I see. I knew it. Were people trying to? Because I've seen two things, right? People saying that the Crisis Bodyguards thing works on long strike. It doesn't, does it?
It does, as written. I think it does.
But I thought if you're over 9 wounds...
No, there's a big argument about where... No, it's because the Crisis Bodyguard rule, and I can get the Codex, I've got it here. I'm fairly sure the Crisis Bodyguard rule doesn't have any of the... It isn't a bodyguard rule. It's described differently. This is good to see. We'll do it live. Let's have a look. So, Crisis Bodyguards. Swarm Protectors. While a friendly Sept character unit is within 3 inches of any Crisis models in this unit, enemy models cannot target that character unit with any range attacks, or with range attacks. Long Strike is a Sept character. Doesn't matter that he's a vehicle or, whatever.
Right. Yeah, Rich is saying he'd expect it to change in the FAQ.
I would always, yeah.
I would always play it that you can't, but
Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen some tournaments have ruled on that apparently.
Beachhead did apparently, Rich.
Oh, Beachhead did. Okay, fine. Yeah. And I know some Tau players have got annoyed about that, which I thought was interesting. Let's have a look. Yeah. So what did Vic have? So he's got Commander and Crisis Battlesuit, Ethereal, Strike Team. Yeah, lots of Crisis, lots of Broadsides. Broadsides are very good. They really are.
Did they go for Tau? Sept?
Yes, he did. He went for Tau, and Alex Harrison, who won the damn thing, he went for Tau Septs. And your top Custodes player, Vince, he had... Let's have a look at what he had. He had Empress Chosen.
Agent Valoris, a shield captain on bike. 3 units of 3 custodians.
All right, so can you guess? So you got Valoris, you got shield captain on bike. There's a third HQ. Can you guess what it is?
Is it a shield captain in Alarus Terminator armor?
It is. What relic has he got?
Has he got the Praetorian plate?
He has got the Praetorian plate. Do you know what Captain Commander trait he's got?
Unstoppable Destroyer.
He has got Unstoppable Destroyer. Well done. There you go. You win a prize. Yes.
Does he
Yeah.
have 2 units of bikes or 1 unit of bikes?
He has 3 units of bikes. He has three
Three
units of
units of
bikes.
bikes.
3 units of bikes. Well, interesting. 1 unit of 3 Alarus, 1 Alarus, 1 Alarus. So 5 in total, but split 1, 1, and 3. 5 Sagittarium, little unit of prosecutors, and custodian guard squad with 2 with shields, 1 with spear.
I don't understand the mix and match on them anymore.
It still works. You've still got a guy to soak up damage, right? I think so. Yes, that is Pleasant Canabe, actually. Yes, yeah, Vince Chandler, that is Pleasant Canabe. So that's interesting, because obviously PK was playing Sisters as well, and he has now switched over to the Custodes. Maybe for this
he was
season.
playing Blood Angels. Let's be real.
Oh, was he playing Blood Angels originally?
The man does have a Blood Angels army, and then he's become a win at all costs. No, I'm joking. I don't know the man.
Harsh. Yeah.
I play Chaos Demons. I'm allowed to say anybody else who uses something that's top of the meta. I'm allowed to say it. But yeah, no, it's they're in a really I really like the Tau book. I think it's fine. I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is. I just think there's a couple of maybe slightly weird, janky interactions, like the what's name, like the long strike and the bodyguards thing. But it's interesting because most of the competitive lists I've seen don't try and do that type of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of them are saying, Farsight, Enclaves, or Tau. I know a lot of people think Farsight's better than Tau. I think Farsight's better from a kind of it working each model being effective on its own. I think Farsight's better, but I think if you're going to play it as an army, Tau is definitely the choice. Because you can like broadsides, rail sides with smart missile systems in a Tau force are very, very cool. Because you've got 6 shots with the rail rifle, and you get to re-roll a hit and re-roll a wound, or is it one or the other?
I think it's one or the other, isn't it?
Okay. Maybe.
Well,
good evening, Marty.
In other good news, I have finally fixed my audio, so apparently I'm coming through okay. I'm a little bit quiet apparently, so I'll turn myself up, see if that does anything. There we go. Let's see if that works.
So now you can drop all of your pearls of wisdom.
I don't have any pearls of wisdom. I just occasionally roll dice with people. That's all I do. And then I'm going to bring my Eldar and ruin your day.
You're taking... So we've got ITT this week.
We have got ITT.
Not week.
Next
2 weeks from now.
Two
next
weeks.
Week.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jesus Christ. It's coming up. Yeah.
For those that don't know what ITT is, it's the international team tournament featuring none of the international teams.
Well, you know what we're doing is we are going for a baseball vibe because we're going for the World Series, right? It's the World Series, but it only features US and 1 Canadian team, and we're the same. We're the international team tournament, but with only teams from the UK. Possibly, there might be some guys from Europe actually who come along. I don't know.
No, there might be, but it's not Team UK, Team US versus Team Slovenia versus Team Brazil. It's not that. It's Team Warclay versus Team Johnny on the spot with the sixes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Vanguard Tactics are sending a team. I know that. I think might be sending a couple of teams. I don't know. So yeah, we'll have to see. We
have 2 questions.
Oh yeah, cool. Cracking. I've just seen them from Wiggles Bottom and Dan.
Yeah.
Which can I just say, I love that because that's the wonderful contrast in names. You got Wiggles Bottom. It's exuberant. It's out there, and then you've just got Dan. It's easy as just Dan. Don't need to be
Dan.
Anything more. Just Dan. I love it. Both very good.
Mr. Gwatkin is representing Team Warhipster at the London Open next weekend. We need to add you to a WhatsApp group, Mr. Gwatkin.
Yeah, Mr. Gwatkin, don't worry. We're going to get you involved in a secret project. We're like MK
Yes,
Ultra, mate. We're like the CIA. We've got like a secret
y-
group going.
yes. We'll do that. We'll do that after this. I'll add you into a WhatsApp group.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on the new avatar of Kane model? Asks Wiggle Wiggles Bottom. I think the new avatar Kane model is lovely.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's
it's very cool.
gorgeous.
I think it's very cool.
For me, there is. I think I've decided there is a definite right choice for building it. Um, which is with the sword and the helmet with the big helmet with the hair plume.
See, I like the helmet. I like the classic style. But I'm
Yeah, that's
tempted
the
to go
one.
with. Sorry. I thought you meant
Yeah,
the head just with the
yeah,
hair.
yeah. No, the helmet with the fins either side, and then the
Oh yeah,
massive
yeah.
hair. Because there's one where it's got like a big back thing on the thing, which doesn't
Mm.
have the hair. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's a helmet with the big fin on the back. The classic look helmet with the sword. That for me, I've decided that's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
I'm debating sword or spear. No, I did do you know what? I actually did an Instagram. I don't know if I can still see it, but I did an Instagram like poll on this on a story.
Yeah.
I probably can't see it now because it's just disappeared into the ether because Instagram sort of does that. But I said, sword, axe, spear, or like helmeted, unhelmeted, and what people. And I think a lot of people were going like helmet and axe. I think a lot of people like the axe as well, which is quite cool.
See, that's the one thing I don't like.
Yeah, I'm the same. I prefer sword or spear, and that's to be fair, that's only because I've got the Forge World one, and the Forge World one I've got the one with the sword. But I also think the one with the spear, who's kind of like he's doing the javelin, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because I think the one with I think the axe is a little bit too small.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's all. I think the
It's
axe is really cool. I just think it's too small in his hand. Because I'm used to seeing like for me axes. I really like the for example the Bloodthirster Insensate Rage that has a two-handed axe that's as big as himself. Um,
yes, yeah. Well, that's very cornate, isn't it? You wouldn't
yes,
expect anything less from the Blood God. Only small axes.
exactly.
This isn't an axe, this is a
Uh,
letter opener.
And Dan asks, do you think crisis suits, etc., are undercosted at the moment? I don't think crisis suits are undercosted at the moment.
Oh,
No.
what are they? How much are they baseline?
Well, to fully kit them out, they pretty much come in at 60 points each.
Yeah.
Now, there are some things that, if you're going to be as complicated as it is for the Tau, I think they could make it a little bit more complicated. For example, being only able to include one airburst fragmentation projector per model.
Don't you'll ruin Ed's list.
But it's one of those things. I mean, I personally don't think the air bursting fragmentation projector is a good idea on the
Yeah.
Crisis because, particularly in Farsight, you want them to be within 12 inches. Where are you dropping within 12 inches that's out of line of sight?
I mean, it just depends how you want to play it, right? I think in terms of Dan's question about are they undercosted or overcosted, it says overcosted. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you kit them out, as you say, 55 to 60 points probably is where you land. You're right. Is that too much? I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting, right? You've got to think about how much the other things cost at that level that are, first of all, what costs roughly the same, right? Alaris Terminators now are, I mean, they're too cheap, I would say, and they're around that level. I think Death Shroud Terminators are still, they're 5 points more. They're like 65 or something. Rich can let me know in the comments in the chat because I'm not 100% sure. And again, they're probably overcosted. The thing about the Crisis Suits is they're very good, but they are still Tau. They do one thing. They do it incredibly well, shooting, but is their defensive profile that good anymore? It's still good, but it's not what it used to be. Maybe I don't know. I've not faced them on the battlefield, and I don't want to because I'm running Nidzilla, so I'll get shot to pieces. But we'll have to see. Oh, Death Shroud are now 55 points. Yeah, so Alaros 50.
You can give them all now a 4+ invuln for free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, with
but
the
not
shield
for
generator.
free. You still spend the points. I think it's for me. It's like they're great at their points, but the ability to take a thing as well as 3 guns, whereas it used to be a system and 2 guns, or you basically had 3 hard points.
Yeah.
I think maybe is a little bit unfair, but
Yeah.
only time will tell. I think they're probably fine. Hammerhead probably could go up.
Yeah, Hammerhead might go up.
Broadsides, I don't. Broadsides, I think, are fairly costed. They are very expensive. They're very good, but they are very expensive.
Yeah.
Uh, like they're 80. They run at 80 points a model.
Mm.
Which is quite a lot.
How much are Devilfish to the
Oh,
Codex?
they're like 95 points. I know someone
Yeah.
who beat 3 Tau players with Custodes this weekend. Well, there you go, says Rich. Warhipster, would I be right in guessing there's going to be a painting tutorial for the new avatar of Kane?
Of
Kane.
course.
Wiggles bottom. Yes, you would be right in thinking there will be a painting tutorial for the new avatar of Kane. There 100% will be.
Ask such a question. Of course, one would appear on his channel.
Yep. If I get it on time, it could even come out the same weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll do a rundown of some of the data sheets as well over on my channel and sort of the Codex. Maybe we'll do a video together, Josh, just talking through the Codex and sort of what our thoughts on it inevitably when it comes out. Because I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very good. It's going to have some nice spice to it.
I think it's going to be. I'm genuinely terrified of the Aeldari Codex. I'm genuinely afraid.
I think what Rich said earlier is right. I think Tau, Eldar, and then Tyranids are going to mix up the meta. I mean, obviously, as someone who's knocking about with Tyranids at the moment, I am really interested to see what the Tyranids get. And it's also really interesting, right, because as I said at the start of the stream, the Eldar Codex is pretty much all online. It's all out there, in one form or another. It probably shouldn't be, but it is. Tyranids, zilch. Absolutely zilch. The only things we've had on Tyranids so far, and again, small plug, check out my channel, I've done 2 videos on them, are the profiles from the boxes that people have been buying. So we have a new profile for the Hive Tyrant. Spoiler, it's 2 profiles. They've split the winged and the walking Hive Tyrant. And a new profile for the Swarm Lord. We've also got a Haruspex and an Exocrine as well, because those come in the same box. I haven't done a video on the Haruspex, but I have done one on the Exocrine. And essentially what is happening to the Tyranids, it looks like, is pretty much the same thing that's happened to everybody else, which is everything is getting killier. Everything is getting killier, and the big monsters are getting tougher, which I like. A lot.
I think they are definitely going to ramp up in terms of their killy potential. They're probably going to get tougher, but a number of their stratagems are going to go away.
Oh yeah, and I think again, what you will probably see from the Codex, and actually the same thing for Eldar. So this is a universal thing that tends to happen, I think, with these. Is what you will see is side grades. So the Tyranids at the moment really have, and I'll pick on Tyranids. I know we sort of didn't mention we were talking about Tyranids, and I've sort of forced the conversation that way, but I'm going to stick with it. So Tyranid players have a couple of stratagems, right? So when I say stratagems, I mean to play the game. I don't mean literally, things you spend CP on. Pre-Crusher Stampede. Okay, because Crusher Stampede is a bit of an outlier because it's a White Dwarf supplement that's just incredibly good. Really, the way you played Tyranids before was you either did, some people tried Gaunt Carpet for a while, but that died, right? Which is just flood the board with hundreds of, little Gaunt models and basically go, I'm going to just hold the board and, you'll kill me very easily, but you won't kill enough to stop me, taking objectives and taking up board space. Or you have your kind of, bring a Swarm Lord, bring a load of Gene Stealers, start flinging Gene Stealers at people, and then follow it up with your slightly tougher, bigger monsters, right? So generally that's the way they've all kind of worked. And when the new Codex comes out, I can guarantee you now, and I'll put my, I'm going to say stake reputation on it, I'll put money on it, the Swarm Lord is going to lose his double move ability. Almost certainly the Swarm Lord is going to lose his double move ability. So Tyranid players, I'm sure he will. They've given him 9 attacks now, right? He hits at strength 9. He was strength 8 before, so it's a slight upgrade. And, you know, that's without seeing the rules he's got, right? Obviously. I guarantee they've got rid of that double move. The other reason I think they've done that is because if you look at the Gene Stealer profile in the Gene Stealer Cult Codex, Gene Stealers now are, yeah, they've gone down to 10-man units, the pure strains, but they've got a 4-up invuln, right? They can still advance and charge. They've got the extra attack built in that you used to get for having 11 models or more in the unit. And they're also all natively, the AP has gone up on the claws. Their rending claws. So, you know, they're all instantly now better, right, than they were. And I just cannot see them retaining the Swarm Lord. Oh yeah, by the way, you get to move again in your shooting phase if you don't shoot, because and Tyranid, it might become a stratagem. It might become something you can do, or maybe you can do it once per game. But I don't think it will stay around in its current form. Let's put it that way. I'm going to hedge myself and say it might stay around in a different form, but I don't think it will stay around in its current form. And I can guarantee you now, there will be videos, there will be people on Reddit, Tyranid players going, they've ruined the Swarm Lord, he's been nerfed, oh, my army is unworkable now. And then within 48 hours, someone will go, oh yeah, but if you run this, this, and this, you've now got something that will, see those Tau over there? Yeah, oh, they were the top of the meta, right, now they're getting eaten and turned into soup. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's always what happens, right? The viable stuff, the way that these nine 9th edition codexes tend to go, as I see it, is that they give you they sort of take away some of the really obvious stuff, but give you generally some side grades that actually improve a lot else across the codex. Obviously, there are exceptions to that. There are things that get taken away altogether. Blood Angels players, F in the chat for the Angels wing. So I knew that would make you smile, Josh, or make you cry. I don't know which one. But the 9th edition codexes generally do that. They generally give you that side grade and generally give you other ways to play the game and actually make a lot more units viable and more powerful. It's what happened to Drukhari, it's what happened to Admech, it's what happened to Custodes, right? Like Wardens are good again. No one's taking Wardens. Wardens are good. They've got bodyguard ability, that kind of thing. But yeah,
interesting, because you and I talked. You and I talked about the Wardens thing, and you said you didn't think Wardens was worth it. The bodyguard was worth it for the Wardens.
So I don't think it's worth it, because the way I would run my list, I'm not. If I'm Custodes, I'm not too fussed about bodyguarding. However, my point is, if you do want to use that ability, Wardens actually become good value again, right? If that's the kind of strategy you want to play, they are very useful. Whereas before, they just had no purpose. That's what I mean, right? They were just they didn't really have a clear role. Now they have a clear role, so you can include them in your army if you want.
They had the extra attack.
Yeah, but like, come on. In the grand scheme of the Custodes book, it's like.
See, my dream in 8th edition was to run a 10-man unit of Wardens.
Yeah.
And have it walk into the enemy's army and lose 3 of them.
Right.
And then to play the stratagem for when one dies, you gain an extra attack for every one that's died. So your 10 would even go down to like 5. So each one would gain 5 attacks each. So then, that would have been really funny. Any more than that, and it would have been it would have been pointless, because you start actually degrading the unit too much. But like, I think it was that each one had 4 attacks, so it was 40 attacks. If you lost 1, everyone would go up. So you would lose 4, but you'd gain 9.
Yeah.
So you'd gain 5 attacks. So it got exponentially better, and then it immediately bottoms out of a cliff once you have what it was going for. But everyone else thought I was mad.
I mean, it's kind of a meme. It's a meme play. I mean, just looking at the chat for a second. So Rich has made the point about the Gene Stealers, that they are, pure strains in the Gene Stealer Codex. They're not just Gene Stealers. I agree with you, Rich. I see where you're coming from. It would just be very weird if Gene Stealers in the Tyranid Codex didn't also get, at the very least, something similar, because fundamentally, maybe they move out of troops, maybe they become elites, whatever, right? That would kind of suck, but hey,
probably should.
It happened, right? But a pure in the Genes from a fluff perspective, and I'm not saying that the fluff is the way things should work. Although, let's be clear, a lot of the stuff that GW have done, even when it's slightly over the top, has kind of been heading along the lines of actually because it's fluffy, that's how it should work. A pure strain gene stealer is a gene stealer to a Tyranid. That's what that is. The ones in the Tyranid book are the pure strain gene stealers in the GSC book. That's the whole point. They evolve kind of into they breed into them, and then they go off and start other gene stealer cults because they can do the implantation horrible parasitic thing. So yeah, it would just be very odd if they didn't do that, I think. But hey, who knows? I'll hold my hands up. We'll see what happens. We've also got a question from Wigglesbottom, who says, so in general, for all the new Aeldari models that have been revealed, what's your thoughts on how they all look? And I've been talking forever, so Josh, you answer this one.
They look very nice.
Right, okay. Do you want to expand on that at all?
I mean, they've just got the nicer, cleaner lines. They've got a lot more dynamism in them.
Yeah.
They're great. They are... the Shroud Runners are the only one that I see as being a really popular pick. Oh, and the Avatar, and Morgan Ra, because for the majority of people who have Aeldari armies, and I mean people who've had Aeldari armies for a long time, and the ones who always ask for plastic aspect warriors, they're the ones that already own 30 Dark Reapers. Why would you buy another 30?
Yeah. I mean, I've a good example of that. I've had my Eldar army a while, but I don't have that level of Eldar. It was built for a slow grow campaign. So I've got 5 of the Resin Dark Reapers. I've got 5 Striking Scorpions. I've got the Fire Dragons as well. And I've got the Howling Banshees as well, because they were a plastic sculpt, which was very nice. But I'm familiar with the world of Finecast in Aeldari. So if they do, I mean, if they bring out Sweeping Hawks, I haven't got any of them, so I'd be happy with Sweeping Hawks.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. Like Dark Reapers is an interesting choice, because the majority of people who played Aeldari at the beginning of 8th edition, I'm looking at you, the Ynnari, who are running 20 to 30 Dark Reapers
with Soul Burst.
With Soul Burst, double shooting them and all that kind of thing. They've already got their Dark Reapers. So it's one of those things. What I really like though about this launch is that the new Guardians are really, really nice. And what it does is it gives a new player or somebody who wants to get into Aeldari, it gives them a really good foundation off which to build. Which is really good.
I saw some people moaning about the Guardians. You saw this comment where people sort of said, well, we don't need new Guardians, they look fine. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get you, but, just updating the basic troop kit, what's wrong with that? It's still... And also, let's be fair, you could build... I've seen people talking about building Dire Avengers off those as well, which is kind of cool. So using their bodies with the Dire Avengers heads, potentially. Philip Eagles in the chat says, Finecast, mine are all metal. So he has the OG. I wish mine were metal, Phil, because let me tell you, Finecast... although, I say that, it's... Do you know what's interesting about it is with the Aspect Warriors is which kits are better than others. So Dark Reaper one is awful to put together.
Yeah.
The Fire Dragon one, actually fine. Looks good.
Yeah.
Except the only one that's a bit iffy on that one is the sorry, I'm looking off at my cabinet. Is the Exarch, because he's got the Fire Pike, so it's a bit long, so it can get a bit bent, but everything else is fine. And the Striking Scorpions, you know what? I'll open up my cupboard. They're all right. They're okay.
Yeah.
Their hair thing that clips onto the back, they're like kind of scorpion, I don't know, for want of a better term, headdress thing that they have.
Yeah.
That's a bit awkward to glue on, but I remember when I was building them, it was just a bit of a nuisance. But they look okay.
Yeah, they do. The new Rangers are really nice. Like I said, they feel fuller.
Oh yeah, I say, I mean, I'll hold one up for the camera. Yeah, I think they look lovely. Really good, really good sculpts.
I like the one that's drawing a knife.
I didn't build that one. I went for the slightly boring, but I wanted one of them who's just looking down their rifle, so I went for the rifle pose. Yes. Yeah, the knife one's cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
There's the dude with 2 pistols. I'm definitely building him. He just looks like he's like on his way to ruin your day. He's like got one in his hand and he's drawing another one.
Yeah, I really like the Shroud Runners. I think they're very cool.
Yeah, they are. I think
Uh,
they are. They are nice. They are nice. They're a nice, like a really nice sculpt. I haven't put mine together yet, but I'm looking forward to doing it.
it's a really nice idea as well.
Yeah, I've seen people complaining about them as well, which I know is not, is not the.
But why?
Well, because I thought I saw the the argument being made, and they were like, "Why would scouts run around on jet bikes? Surely it defeats the objective of being a scout." And it's like, well, yeah, but they zip from place to place, and then they might get dropped off or whatever, and then they jump on their bikes and run away. That's the whole point.
So do those same people complain about scout bike squads in the Space Marines?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Probably not. Let's be honest.
No, no. Well, it's the same complaint you get when people make about what are they called, Phobos stuff, where people say,
Oh God.
people make the argument and say, well, Phobos it doesn't work because they're running through, they're supposed to be hiding and they're all wearing bright yellow or bright red or bright blue armor or whatever, and it's just like, come on, guys.
It's the future.
As Phil Eagle says, yeah, it's the future. As Phil Eagle says, people love to complain about anything these days, and I agree. In fact, I would be shocked, and I will. I won't fiddle around with my Discord because it will ruin this stream. But I'm sure in the Aeldari Discord there is some discontent that the Aeldari Codex is not being going on pre-order this week, because we have already had the pre-order confirmations from GW, and they are all Black Library related.
Yes, because it's the Black Library celebration.
Yeah,
which means there's 2 very important models coming out, which I can't wait to get my hands on. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on Fafnir Ran and Dominion Zephon, because those are some
cool.
really cool models, and
Cool.
they're plastic Horus Heresy character series models.
Could it be? Could we be seeing the dawn of the plastic heresy?
Could we indeed?
Yeah.
Could we indeed?
They are very cool. There's some cool stuff. There's like some there's some like special edition Eisenhorn books as well. I think Xenos is going special edition. There's like a cool bookmark as well, which I've seen, which is Eisenhorn. So as well as the models,
Cool.
there's some other stuff for the Black Library celebration, which is quite cool. Rich has made a good point. He says, "Don't forget those stealthy Invicta warsuits." And yeah, that is right. I mean, the Invicta warsuit is hilarious. I'm going to forward deploy this Invicta warsuit, which you didn't see coming at you, despite it being about 20 foot tall.
Yeah. Actually, here's an interesting question based on Tau, Aeldari, and Custodes. Mission packs for tournaments. Are we seeing the mission that allows no forward deployment? Was that used at Bournemouth?
I don't know. Do you know what? I will try and find out for you. Let's have a look. Beachhead Brawl. I'll see if I can get the mission pack. This is where Rich is going to just be like, I already know this, and the answer is X.
The answer is no.
Hang on a second. Beachhead Brawl. Here we go. Can I get the pack?
The other question I have about Beachhead Brawl is Beachhead Brawl using the new chapter approved 2022 rules about conceding?
Yeah, I believe it is. I believe it was using the new missions and the new rules. But I don't know actually what missions were played. I'm just seeing if I can find out for you now, using my skills on the interwebs. But
that's very important.
Yeah, I can't.
Are those the standard GW clippers? I can never find a decent pair that keep their edge. They are the standard GW clippers. I've had these standard GW clippers now for 7 years. They came in the Citadel paints and tools set. You can tell that they're very well loved because they're well, I burn things quite often with them. So you can see there's a little bit of heat damage on the blade, and it's a bit rusty around there as well because they've had some serious loving. But yes, they are the standard GW clippers. I love them. I think it would be. I probably do need to get some new clippers because these ones are very old now. But I've got a set of the proper clippers. Um, the ones that they sell individually. But for me, they're just too big.
So I've found the pack. I'm just trying to find the right. So do you remember which mission it is that has that limitation in it, Josh?
No.
Okay.
I can find out though.
I will hang on. I will consult the library. It says that. Where is it?
Consult the Tome of Knowledge.
Here we go. The stupidly thin world of Nachmund.
So Rich says, I know at London Open /WT events, Abandoned Sanctuaries is the first mission.
And that is the one, Abandoned Sanctuaries, and it is the first mission at Beachhead Brawl as well.
There you go. And that's the one that doesn't allow pre-game moves, right?
It is the one that doesn't allow pre-game moves. Yes, yeah. I must admit, I played. So the new missions are quite cool. Actually, I was a bit when I first looked through this incredibly slim tome. I was a bit, again repeating what we said for the other about codexes. I was a bit like, oh, what have they done to my mission pack? But actually, playing them, it was more a case of going, oh god, there's more to do now. How's this going to work with my list? But actually playing it was really good fun. So I did tear down their icons, which is mission 12, last night, and it's the one with the funky place a bomb, turn off a bomb, and then blow it up at the end of the game. Second primary, I guess, which is kind of hilarious and actually leads to some interesting interactions. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
I'm kind of a fan of these new ones. They certainly make you think more. Although because we both had quite killy lists, we ended up just kind of knocking 10 shades of the proverbial out of each other, and then remembering we also had to do missions as well and had to do actions like sort of in about turn 3. But yeah, no, I think they're good. So yeah, they Beachhead Brawl, they did Abandoned Sanctuaries, which is that one. They did Conversion, Scouring, Recover the Relics, Data Scry Salvage, Tide of Conviction, and Death and Zeal. So good selection of thing. And it was also a 7-round tournament, which I didn't realise. I thought it was only 6, but that is interesting. A little bit longer.
The objective placement makes a big difference too.
Yeah, agree with Rich.
It says what Rich says.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know if you saw my message this morning, actually.
What,
about yeah, I don't know if you saw about ITT.
Oh yes, I think I did. Yeah.
About the terrain.
Yeah, because you said it's a slightly different terrain pack, isn't it?
It is.
Well, so because we used the terrain for it's interesting that because do you want to explain to people who are watching the stream what the difference actually is?
So at the international team tournament that is not international, we have teams of 5 battling it out for supremacy. What happens is before you start the game, because it's a second element to a team tournament where you kind of have to sort of use your best tactical knowledge and nous to determine how things who's going to face who. And one of the things that is in the international team tournament is that what you have to do is you have to have a heavy table and a light table and then 3 normal tables. On the heavy table, you take 2 pieces of terrain from the light table and put them on the heavy table.
Yeah.
Which means there will be one table there which has got all of the terrain ever, and one table there that has less than the amount of terrain ever. I thought that was very interesting.
It is, and you know what? It's interesting because it's another kind of tactical thing to think about. And like, so for my list, for example, so for Crusher Stampede, for the Tyranids, one of the interesting questions is, do I actually inevitably you always sit there and think, oh, heavy terrain, that's really good. It's what you might want. But Otherwise, sometimes you sort of think, well, I need to move my monsters around. Oh,
Have I disappeared?
you froze for a moment there. I hope I'm still coming through. You still there? I can see you. You are moving. Oh, I think we might have lost Josh. You back?
Am I back?
Yeah, you are. I can hear you. There you go. You froze and then you disappeared and now you're back. So that's all right.
Oh, I got disconnected from the internet. That's why.
Oh, right. That's an issue. Yeah, so sorry, what I was saying is, like, on the one hand, for me, heavy terrain sounds great. More terrain, more places to hide. I have big monsters with big bases. I need to be able to move them forward. So actually, in some respects, heavier terrain for me is kind of annoying because it means I only have a limited number of places I can go.
Yeah.
So I actually probably don't want to be blocked out. So in some respects, the lighter terrain table might be better for me.
So I want to go on the heavy one. I want to be on the heavy terrain because I want to I want to be able to protect my Keeper of Secrets and my Bellicor and my Lord of Change and my keepers, not keepers, I've already said them, my Fiends of Slaanesh and my Screamers of Tzeentch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's going to be interesting, let's put it that way. Especially with the other lists that are coming with us to ITT as well. And obviously who we're up against is going to be a big determinant as well.
He is.
So
it's a good job we're not going to be facing anyone that's Tau, Custodes, Nids.
No, that is true. Yeah, it's going to be every team, much like ours, is probably going to be Tau, Custodes, Nids, and then maybe Drakari, possibly Grey Knights. I reckon.
I suspect you're going to I suspect what you're going to see is you're going to see Custodes, Tau, Drakari, Admech, Nids.
Yeah, Admech's interesting actually. I don't know if there will be that many Admech anymore. Because it's funny, right? Because the Admech are still really, really good. They won LVO, but that was Richard Siegler, so Richard Siegler could win with, like, I don't know, what's the worst faction in the game at the moment?
Genestealer Cult? No, I'm joking. Probably Chaos. Probably Chaos Demons now.
Yeah, Raven Guard. I don't know. So he could probably win with them, but a lot of other people are not big fans of. It seems people have moved on from Admech. Like certainly all the top competitive players mostly seem to have moved on to Custodes or to Tau.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see a lot more Admech. Their stuff's got more expensive. God, Reza says God are the worst in the game. Possibly.
God, oh yeah, fair point.
You know what? There is a way we can check this. Let me have a look at 40k Stat Center, and I will try and see what is the current win-loss across factions.
Wiggles Bottom says, what factions would you recommend for a new player? I would recommend Space Marines and Stormcast Eternals because they are the easiest to learn and the easiest to master. They're not the most powerful by any stretch of the imagination, but learning the game of 40k and learning the game of Age of Sigmar, Stormcast Eternals and Space Marines, no problem. If you want to be the bad guys, you could be Necrons or Cruel Boys. But it's just because they come in the starter set. That's why they're the easiest.
Yeah. No,
see, the only reason I wouldn't say Custodes, Rich, is because there's things like the Marshal Qatar, which are somewhat confusing. The Space Marines one, it's this, then this, then this. But Custodes are a fairly easy army to master as well, and obviously, you don't have to get so many models for them.
So I think as at the moment, just on the question of who is the best and worst faction, so as at the moment, according to 40k Stats Center, which is the current stats, so this will change. but the top 5 factions, and this reflects, it's interesting, right? So this is clearly pre-Custodes Codex, pre-Chapter Approved 22, and pre some of the changes we've seen. Their top 4 are actually Drukhari, Cult Mechanicus, Grey Knights, Iron Hands, Orcs are in 5th. Chaos Demons are actually in 6th, I'll have you know, above Adeptus Sororitas.
It's and technically the thing about Chaos Demons. I'm just going to quickly interrupt you there. Yeah. Chaos Demons are very good if you're running Slaanesh with 4 Keepers of Secrets.
Yeah. Oh, we got an into.
They're not very good if you do anything else.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. They are all Slaanesh lists, I think. Their bottom 5, I mean, they've got Adeptus Titanicus in here. I'm not including that because why would you? But their bottom 5 are, starting from the worst, Imperial Fists, Tau Empire, that's going to change, Astra Militarum, Blood Angels, and Raven Guard.
Someone said to me that Blood Angels are very good the other day. I was just like, are you having a bubble, mate? I keep a close eye on the Blood Angels on account of having nearly 10,000 points of them. They're not very good.
They're not very good at the moment. I mean, I would say that excluding Adeptus Titanicus, the Chaos Space Marines are the 7th worst faction, and interestingly, right above them, Aziani are the 8th worst faction. So it's an interesting. I mean, these will change inevitably. These will change as new codexes come out. Tyranids are like hovering right in the middle, and we've had a few Crush Stampede tournaments, so I suspect that is going to fly right up. But at the moment, Tau Empire have a 35% win rate, so that's going to change.
Well, not after this weekend, they don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely going to change. So yeah, basically at the moment everything is in flux, right? I think is the answer.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see where things come out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so Rich says Blood Angels can maybe go 4-1 with a good pilot, but I'd probably put them in as the worst ranked 9th edition book. Are they the worst 9th edition book? Space Wolves?
Yep.
Space Wolves?
No. Blood Angels.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of all my 9th edition. Yeah, probably Blood Angels.
All of the Blood Angels stuff involves taking really expensive points-wise units into combat.
Yeah.
So when someone said to me the other day, you could run Blood Angels as a shooting army, I nearly slapped them with a glove and challenged them to a duel. Because
you don't get any +1 to wound for shooting, mate.
Because what's the point? Like, at least in the Space Wars, okay, their stuff isn't great, but the heroic intervention is better for playing the objective than +1 to wound.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So you can keep people away from objectives a little bit easier. Space Marines are just struggling a little bit at the moment. But Space Force has a lot of fight last as well. That's right, Rez.
Right, yeah.
And things like the Wolfen being a little bit cheaper now, meaning that they fight on death anyway, is just very, very good.
Yes, yeah. I mean, what I would say as well is that we always forget that Space Marines were rubbish for a long time. It's like a constant. It's like I think everyone always assumes Space Marines. And this is I love the Blood Angels. I've got
Have I dropped out again?
No, I can hear you. I think your camera might have gone a bit funky, but I can still hear you. Maybe it's this weather we're having. You're getting. Yeah, you're back. I can hear you.
Very odd.
You're clearly getting some bad weather down there, which is disrupting the old internets.
Clearly.
But yeah,
I cried at the Death Guard point changes, says Mr. Dowliza. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be, my friend.
Yes, yeah. You can have 15 points off this, but this goes up by 15 points. No, the Death Guard's changes were weird. They were for what should have happened, a meta that existed 6 months before the book came out. They were just odd.
Yeah.
I just don't get them. And like some of the stuff they did, a little bit of the stuff they did to Sisters was fine, but again, it was like changes for a meta that existed 6 months ago that doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, I consider myself a good pilot with a Blood Angels list, and even I don't want to try.
Yeah.
which makes me sad because I love my Blood Angels. I love them to death.
But they're also very cool.
Oh, they're the best Space Marine faction in the whole wide world. But yeah, it just makes me sad that they're not. But it done also does give me it does give me hope that they're going to get something if they get a version 2 supplement.
Yeah, which I don't know. I don't know if they. Well, they'll certainly update all the 8th edition ones first, but maybe we'll see that at some point. But yeah, I
Well,
mean,
they didn't last time.
yeah. I agree with Mr. Dowlisa, which says ignore the obvious failure that is Plague Marines. I'm very sad because Plague Marines should be the core of a Death Guard army, my opinion. They're what?
Yes, they should.
It's Codex, like it's the same for Space Marines, and I've had. Oh, sorry, not Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines. And I've had debates about this with some people in the hobby who insist that, who make the argument and say, well, and it's a fair one, and they say, well, Chaos Space Marines should be really rare, right? They're these kind of super elite warriors. So actually having, a bunch of, in an ideal world, what we would have is a bunch of Chaos Space Marines that are like Custodes level, because they've been in the warp 10,000 years, they're very strong, they've got all this, that, and the other, and then most of the army is actually bulked out by like guardsmen and cultists and crap like that. I don't agree with that. I agree from a fluff perspective, fine, but from a fluff perspective, you wouldn't get an army of Custodes as we play them in the game. You wouldn't get an army of Space Marines as we play them in the game, right? Except in
you
the
get
most
one Space Marine.
Yeah, and one Space Marine and like 300 guardsmen, right? Like that's and again, it's the same like sisters. You wouldn't get sisters in that concentration except in the rarest circumstances. You'd get a small detachment of them and a load of guardsmen. But we play the game. The army is called Chaos Space Marines. It's not called Chaos Cultists, right? If we get a Chaos Guard book or a Traitor Guard or something like that, fair play, loads of them. But if you run a Chaos Space Marine army, run a Chaos Space Marine army, right? I know by that I'm not saying don't run Terminators or Chosen or Possessed or I don't know what else we got, Spawn, stuff like that. Yeah, run all of that stuff, but just don't do 50 or 60 cultists and 5 Space Marines, 5 Chaos Space Marines, because it's just I don't know. For me that just hurts my soul.
Yeah,
but that's
I agree.
But that's me being a bit unfair. I'm sure there's some Chaos players who think I'm an idiot, which is fair play. I probably am.
What are you gonna do your Eldritch Omens
Chaos
stuff as? Yeah.
Oh well, I've got my sort of custom warband that I've got sort of slowly putting together, which is the Obsidian Hatred. So they're just a generic, Chaos Space Marine warband, black and silver. So I mean, look, I hold my hands up. It's from a competitive point of view, so I can play them as anything I want, basically. But also just doesn't tie you down. Because I think, and actually this is maybe something we should point out, is that the Games Workshop have now said they're doing this partnership for tournaments with the ITC guys, right? And one of the rules at Games Workshop tournaments is if your army is painted as Ultramarines, like they've all got Ultimas on them, they're blue, got Ultimas on the shoulder pad, you play them as Ultramarines. You can't play them as White Scars or Dark Angels or something, should you wish, right? You play them as that. Now, obviously, in the ITC tournaments, which is what most people do, rather than GW events, they don't care. You can turn up with an army, and I don't care either. You can turn up with an army that's entirely painted blue, and if you put it down in front of me and tell me they're all White Scars, as long as they're all White Scars and I can tell they're all White Scars, right? Or no other rules are changing, I don't really mind. From my perspective, I don't think you may feel differently, but I'm okay with that. But if GW are going to get into this partnership with the ITC, I do wonder if that would be something that is more heavily enforced and actually would encourage people who want to kind of switch it up, play with different sub-factions, actually encourage them to paint their armies in custom schemes more often, which doesn't necessarily have to happen at the moment. So I think it'd be interesting to see if that develops.
Yeah.
Wiggle Wiggles Bottom's got a good question. He says, I play AOS. 40k I don't play, but I have some small armies for factions I like the aesthetic of, like Beast Snaggers, Necrons, Sisters of Battle. Glad you recommended Necrons to learn. So there we go. So not a question, but a good compliment for you there, Josh. Because I agree, Necrons are not a bad army to learn with. Because they're in the
They're very
books.
good. Having done the episode of Coffee and Codex that we did the other day, and reading through the Necrons book, Codex and Coffee. Sorry, not Coffee and Codex. It's the other way around. Reading through the book, it's very much like this stratagem does this thing for this unit, which is just great. It's not like in the other books where it's like this stratagem you can use it on this guy if you want, or maybe that one, or who cares.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's great to learn the game. Maybe not so good if you're going to take it to a tournament, but that's just that's that angle on it. Oh, Rich says Mike Brandt has already said that the GWITC partnership won't impact people's ability to take 3D printed models, etc. Would assume the same for color schemes. That's interesting. That's interesting, and that's quite good, I guess.
Boo.
Well, I'm okay with 3D printing for parts. I think if you want parts for your models, I think that's okay because there's some stuff that GW just doesn't make. It's when you 3D print an entire army, and then turn up and get annoyed when it gets banned. That's more interesting.
Have you seen that one
that
went round? It did the rounds a little while ago of somebody who'd 3D printed some Caladius battle tanks.
Oh, was that the one? Was that the one where they were like luminous pink?
They were bright blue.
Bright blue, that was it. Yeah.
And they were like, "It's fine. Don't know what your problem is." It's like, that's quite a big problem with this, to be honest. But
well, at least it's not the chap who forgot all his mech guns and had to use beer koozies as orc mech guns.
Yes. How good was the Thousand Suns Codex? I think the Thousand Suns Codex is very, very good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It has some really interesting. So I mean, it depends what answer you want, Mr. Wigglesbottom. If you want the just general answer, yes, it is good. It like all 9th edition codexes, it's quite interesting. The Thousand Suns have some really cool abilities. They can really play around as you would expect with their psychic powers. They can manipulate things. You've got these what you call cabal points you accumulate. So by having your space wizards in your army of psychic sorcerers, they give you these points that you get each turn, and then you can spend those points to do things like extend the range on psychic powers, make sure that psychic powers can't fail, gain additional psychic powers, do additional damage, and they all cost slightly different points levels, and you get different points from having different characters, different psychers in your army. So Magnus the Primarch gives you I think he gives you 5 or 6. He gives you a lot basically for him, possibly more than that, possibly even up to 9. So you're encouraged to kind of take a diversity of different psychic characters, and also their powers are really cool. They can do some really cool psychic stuff. Again, as you would expect for the Thousand Suns. From a competitive point of view, they are good. They're a good army. What they have been hit by, and you know what, Mr. Wigglesbottom, maybe you're the person to come through and take him to the top of a tournament. Because what they have been hit by is that their sub-factions in the book are all individually quite good, but better, as often happens in these things, there was a particular kind of sub-faction soup that you could build. I think it was Cult of Magic and Cult of Time, Cult of Duplicity and Cult of Time or Cult of Magic, one of those combinations, and it was brilliant. It could teleport stuff across the board, it could heal things, it was just very, very good. And with the rule changes now with Chapter 2 2022, that has gone away. So I think Thousand Suns players who are trying to be very competitive are having to rethink how they build it. But all of that aside, it's a really cool book. And I would definitely say if you like your Space Wizards, check it out by all means. I mean, again, look, rule are cool. As much as I'm sitting here talking about competitive stuff, if there's a faction you enjoy, if there's some particular aesthetic you like, go for it. Because you're going to be building models, you're going to be painting models. More time goes into that than actually goes into playing, realistically. So if you don't enjoy the models and painting them and building them and having fun with all of that, just because you want something really, really good on the tabletop, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to have fun. So I would definitely say if you like the Thousand Suns, go for it. Yeah, I think Richard's right. It says it rewards a skilled player. Thousand Suns do have quite a high skill threshold because there's quite a lot you have to think about. placing models in certain places, so you get your psychic powers in range, working out what order to do your psychic powers in. But you know, don't ever let that discourage you, Mr. Wigglesbottom. If you like the Thousand Suns, go and check them out because they are very cool. And also, I believe that if you are watching on youtube.com/Warhipster, there are some painting tutorials for the Thousand Suns.
The Thousand Suns. Yes, for the
Yes.
Infernal Master. And there will be more once I get around to doing the Scarab Occult Terminators. I've got the an Ahriman tutorial as well.
Yeah.
I've got Magnus the Red to do. I've got some Zangors to do. I've got Scarab Occult Terminators, and I've got Zangor Shaman to do as well.
Yeah, so if you do want to do them, Mr. Wigglesbottom, you will have the whole of the entire range to have a look at. So if you're into your Thousand Suns, check it out.
Yes.
And good evening, Ash Bland, as well. Sorry, I saw you said good evening. Good evening to you, sir.
Ash is here. Hooray! What else was I going to say? I was asked. Philip asks, "Are you going to do biscuits and battle tomes?" Yes. Yes, we are. We are going to do it.
Can I come on that one as the guy who knows nothing about AOS?
Yes. Yes. I was honestly, I looked through a battle tome and a codex side by side.
Oh yeah, which battle tome did you look at?
Stormcast.
Right. Okay.
And I looked through that one. So I looked through battle tome Stormcast and Codex Space Marines side by side.
Yeah.
And then I looked through battle tome Orruk Warclans and Codex Drakari side by side.
Right.
It's no contest. Battle tomes are better.
Battle tomes are better.
Yep. So like the Orruk Warclans and the Stormcast Eternals one, whilst it's not entirely useful for me, right, as a painter, both of those battle tomes had painting guides in it for the armies on all the different types of details for Stormcast and Orruk Warclans. Don't get that in 40k anymore, do you?
You certainly do not. Actually, a question for you about battle tomes or about AOS, if I may ask. Again, from a more of a competitive thing, because I've seen people that I follow on social media who are AOS players. One of them I saw recently was getting very excited because apparently his Beasts of Chaos have just gotten some sort of supplement in White Dwarf, and they've gone from being rubbish, for all intents and purposes, to being really, really good. Is that true?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But yes, they have gotten very, very good.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Which is very cool. So no, it's just honestly like looking through them. It was something like basically what I did is I got the Orruk Warclans book out and I went right. This is and it was on page 82 or something when the rules started.
Yeah.
In Codex Drakari, it was on page 40.
Yeah, they've definitely. So the codexes of 40k have definitely lost a little bit of the lore. So I mean, we can do a live example, right? Lean away from the mic for a second, right? So, 8th edition Codex Tyranids, very cool looking warrior on the front with his scything talons and his rending claws. So this has, it's, it's reasonably thick. I mean, let's hold it up against Codex Tau, which is, kind of similar. So this has like a little bit of lore profile on basically every single unit. So synapse creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole page on spores, which is a very Tyranid thing to have. What do? I collect spores, molds, and funguses. There we go. Spores.
Excellent.
The Tau book, by way of a contrast, and obviously this is a very cool codex, and if you're a Tau player, definitely worth checking out, let alone for all the rules. The lore bit is basically just, a few units, general description of what the Tau are like, some cool stuff on battle suits. I will say the art in 9th edition codexes is amazing. It's got this kind of cool page about drones. Also, the other thing in the Tau Codex, I will say, that is quite cool, when we did say we talk about Tau, I'll hold this up so people can see it. This page, right here.
Yeah.
So this is a guide to all of the little gubbins that you could stick on to the battle suits that have come in the box ever since it launched, and I don't think anybody had any idea exactly what each one was. So now you can actually see what a target looks like, and it looks like a speed camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the rest of it pretty much is just, you know, bit of artwork, and then the lore. The rules. The vast majority of this codex is rules. It's Crusade rules, and it's the actual rules for the units. So they have cut down a little bit on lore, I think, compared to some of the 8th edition codexes. But I don't know, they're still pretty cool. They still have some cool stuff in them.
It's still nice. I 100% agree. I was just like, I hadn't looked at one side by side before, for a while at least.
Yeah.
But no, I just really big fan.
Cool.
I
mean, I haven't seen the battle tome, so I don't know.
The Stormcast book is really good. It's worth picking up if you just want to read something cool. I know I would say that as a Stormcast fan, but like, man, there was just some really cool stuff, like this cool little tidbits in there. So, like, for example, I'll give you one that I didn't know before reading the book. So, Bastian Carthalos.
Yeah, the dude with the hammer.
You'll know him. Yeah, the Lord Commander of the Hammers of Sigmar. He is quite important in Azir, but his story is really cool. So Bastian Carthalos fought alongside Sigmar during the Age of Myth, before the Age of Chaos came.
Right.
And so this is still in the mortal realms. So this is just before Sigmar closed the gates of Azir and set to work on creating the Stormcast Eternals. But so Bastian fought alongside him during those wars. And then, so the little tidbit I had is that Sigmar refers to Bastian playfully. He gives him the nickname Bastian the Late, because Bastian was the last soul to pass through the last gate to Azir before Sigmar slammed the gate shut.
Right.
And he was basically a one-man rear guard holding back the forces of chaos whilst everyone else was escaping, and then he was the last to step through. And then he shut the gates of Azir, and then he then forged him into the Lord Commander of the into the Hammers of Sigmar when he died. After he took his soul and onto the Anvil of Apotheosis. It's freaking awesome.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool. I was like, oh, Bastian, he's an absolute hero. But like, yeah, having used him at the last weekend at Warhammer World for a few games, he was very, very cool. Well, I will have to bid you all good night. Busy day tomorrow and an early start off to Norfolk for a few days. Take care all and be safe. Thanks, Marty. Enjoy Marty. Norfolk.
Enjoy Norfolk.
I hope you have a good one. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, I just on Miss Wigglesbottom's comment about battle tomes better laid out than codexes. I mean, I've not looked through a battle tome, so I don't know. But I will say some of the way that codexes are laid out is a little bit annoying. Sticking the Crusade rules in the middle is a big annoying one for me. Because they're a little bit annoying. They're like in the middle of, so you get some rules for your army that you need for competitive play. Then you get Crusade rules, and then you get the rest of your data sheets plus other, abilities and rules that apply to everything. It's just all you end up doing a lot of flicking back and forth. Although I say that, as somebody playing Tyranids at the moment and playing Crush Stampede, I took what I can only describe as a library to Bad Moon Cafe in London with me yesterday, because I had to take the Tyranid Codex, I had to take the Warzone Octarius Rising Tide book, and I had to take the White Dwarf. And between all three of those, that is where I had to go flick through and look through my my stratagems and stuff from 3 different sources.
So Rich has just asked the pertinent question of just looking at London Open roster, and it seems that maybe I should be changing my team name to Team Warclave.
Yes, you should. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
That's the WhatsApp group we need to put you in, Rich.
Yeah, we'll put you in the WhatsApp group, Rich. Don't worry.
Can you do it now, Adam? Because I
I believe
can't, because
I be-
my phone is being used.
I believe I can. I believe I can. Let me do that. Hang on. Did it? Did it? We're doing team stuff live on stream. Rich Kin. There
What
we
was I
go.
straight to the point about there, Ash? What was I straight to the point on? That Stormcast are amazing.
Probably. Probably.
And everybody loves them, and they should love them more than anything
Yeah.
else.
It's probably not a bad shout. But yeah, I think. Look, I think we've it's an exciting time. I think either way in both of the main games, in 40k and in AOS, because obviously you guys are getting the more battle tomes coming out. We've got
Yes.
Eldar. We've just had Tau. We've got what's left? Guard Knights, Chaos Knights, Chaos Demons, Chaos Space Marines, obviously Tyranids, and I think that's it for.
We know Tyranids
People
is
in chat
next.
tell me I'm wrong. Yeah. I'm just working out what's left, like what is left in the sort of grand pantheon of 40k armies to do.
Oh, it is. It's Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah,
It's
Chaos,
Tyranids,
Guard,
uh,
Tyranids,
Guard, and Demons,
Demons,
and
and
Eldari.
Knights. Eldari and Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So
I suspect I wouldn't surprise me if Chaos and Imperial Knights gets put into one book, maybe.
that'd be interesting. That would be interesting. Just a knights book, and then you can just pick your renegades or your Imperium. Be interesting to see what people do with that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we'll end up, to be honest, with them. And again, something might come along and just completely change the meta. Guard. We're all kind of worried about Tau now, and then Aeldari, and then obviously Tyranids. But what are the Guard going to get? Because the Guard can be very good if they've got the right rules. The Guard can be very, very good.
I think there'll be a very, very squats, says Philip.
Well,
I think there'll be a very internally balanced book. The Guard. I think it'll be a very nice book. I don't think it's going to change the meta.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But look, I'm just happy because factions that I play are getting books fairly soon, basically.
And you do like getting your books.
I absolutely do. And I do like just looking through them. I mean, I've got stuff. I don't have I don't have the Gene Stealer Cult book because I don't play Gene Stealer Cults. But I've looked through most of the others. And yeah, I think it's always good to have a handle on what your opponent might be bringing. As a different army. So yeah, I'm a big fan of getting my books and having a look through them. I think it's always worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have just finished building the Dire Avengers.
Oh, nice.
I have built 30 Dire Avengers.
Oh my god.
There are 3 magnetized Exarchs. You can see how to magnetize an Exarch here on YouTube. That is a video I have done.
If you stick 4 arms on it, does it become Ashuman?
No, but they do look like They do look like abominations. It's quite funny. If you've seen the video, you see me do it at the end. But I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was amusing. Oh,
yeah.
Hang on.
It's quite cool. But yeah, I do. 30 Dire Avengers is certainly a powerful should I say that.
If you're looking at my stream, Adam, you should be able to see an abomination of a Dire Avenger.
That's not an abomination. That is a mighty champion of the Aeldari right there. He's the General Grievous of the Aeldari world.
This was the one I did the other night as well.
Oh my god, has he now got 6 arms? Oh my god. Okay, that is a bit much.
Yeah, 6 arms, 3 weapon sets.
The 6-armed Emperor. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Gene Stealer Cults players.
Look at that. The abomination, the abominable Dire Avenger.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts.
I'm a big fan. And then we've got the last one here as well.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot.
They're good. And they're done. Now I've just got to paint them. and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to paint 25 in a week.
That is a lot. Oh, interesting
There you go.
question. If I start playing AOS, what army would I collect? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've got demons, so I could try and run a demon army in AOS, and that would make sense because then I can use it in 40k as well.
Legion
But
of the First Prince.
yeah, Legion of the First. But I must admit, I have always liked. I've always said I like the Cadaron guys, the flying dwarf people.
The
They
Caradron Overlords.
Caradron overlords. Yeah, I always thought they looked quite cool. I don't know. It's a difficult one. If we're going off aesthetics, oh yeah, they're quite cool. I'm gonna go to the Games Workshop website and I will have a look and I will tell you what I think of each army. Let's do that. I'll try and do a very quick rundown of Age of Sigmar. Let's go.
You used to be able to do. You used to be able with the Caradron Overlords. You used to do something called Barak Zilfin's Clown Car.
Barak Zilfin's clown car. What was that?
Basically, you deployed your entire army in one.
Like flying boat
in one
thing.
in the big one, the Ironclad.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at the start collectings here. So skinks. I mean, lizard men are cool. Yeah, lizard men are cool. Gloomspike Gits, not for me. No, not for me. Daughters of Kane, they're all right, but yeah, probably not for me. Slaves to Darkness, chaos Space Marines without guns. Demons of Slanesh, very cool. Beastclaw Raiders, they're quite cool. I mean, I actually had a Warhammer Fantasy Battles Ogres. I wouldn't call it an army, but I had like a force of them that I abortively played Warhammer Fantasy Battles with. So the Beastclaw Raiders do kind of appeal to me from the kind of Ogre side of things. Flesh Eater Courts, again, not really probably my cup of tea. Skaven are cool. I can't get around the idea of rats with technology and warpstone and all of that stuff. And I've played as them in Total War, so I'm actually a big fan of those. Caradrons, as I say, I just think they look cool. They're like steampunk dwarves. Seraphon again are awesome. And then yeah, the Fire Slayers and the Sylvaneth. I think the Sylvaneth look cool. Like I really like their aesthetic actually of the kind of tree revenants and stuff. Fire Slayers, like the sort of like shirtless dwarves firing themselves at each other. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but cool. Stormcast, they're awful. Who'd collect them?
They're the best ever. Shut up.
They do look cool. They do look cool. The Khorne Bloodbound. I must admit, I thought the Khorne Bloodbound looked cool, like the big like Roid Rage Angry Warriors with the like oversized banner and stuff. I've seen them done really well. Idoneth Deepkin, cool aesthetic, but again, not sure I can get behind that one. The like magic water elves. Demons of Khorne are demons. Soul Blight Gravelords. Fair enough. Beasts of Chaos, again, always quite cool. Greywater Fastness, is this just another variation of dwarves?
So Greywater Fastness is a Cities of Sigmar.
Right.
It's
okay.
So Cities of Sigmar had a Kelly says the correct answer was actually none, Adam. But
She's not wrong.
But so in Cities of Sigmar, what you can do is there's a number of different things. So you can do like an Anvil Guard army, or a Hammerhall army, or a Greywater Fastness army, or you can be the Ironweld Ice Arsenal, for example.
Right.
It's a way of collecting old miniatures. They're kind of like the free peoples of Middle Earth in a way,
right,
that
okay.
band together, but they're different sort of ways of doing it.
I'm looking at Anvil Guard and seeing Dark Elves, and I'm guessing they're part of the same thing.
Yeah, so Anvil Guard, you could make. I don't know if Anvil Guard still exists actually, because I think that's the one that Marathi butchered and is now turned into Harganath or whatever, or Harkadron or whatever she's calling it. But yeah, it was a way of being able to do Stormcast plus humans plus some dispossessed dwarves.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. No, as I say, if I did, and if Kelly is still listening, I will not, because I already have demons. I've got to admit the Caradrons, they look pretty cool. It's just steampunk, isn't it? It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Are they? What are they? Are they? I don't know. I don't even know what they're like. they've got like guys with balloons. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fun. They had quite a bit of power at the beginning when they came out, and then they now desperately need a new battle tome
Right.
to bring them up
Okay.
in line. They are definitely very cool though.
Yeah, it's like
It's just things
a guy
like
with a pickaxe and a Gatling gun. I mean, that's pretty cool.
yeah, it's things like the thunder. I think it's the thunderers. You used to be able to spam the weapons in them. You now can't. You have to take one of each in the box, which
Right.
makes the unit a little bit confused because it's like one's got a long range, and a number of them have got a medium range, and some of them are like 6-inch range, for examples.
Right. I see.
Kelly says she's always listening.
She's always listening. It's quite scary.
Wiggle Wiggles Bottom asks, Josh, what AOS armies do you collect? I collect Auric War Clans. I collect Stormcast Eternals. I collect Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
And I also have a huge Caradron Overlords collection to actually do something with. I'm going to do this year, hopefully at the tail end of this year. I originally set out that I was going to do 3 armies for myself for 40k, 3 for AOS. Sorry, 2 for each, but now it's looking like it is possibly going to be 3 because the Stormcast I've nearly finished. I need to do what's name? I need to do the Annihilators for it, and I need to finish 4 dragons for it. But they're pretty much the Hammers of Sigma are nearly done.
Yeah.
Sylvaneth, I've got a huge amount, and I just want to basically paint Alarielle because she's really cool,
Nice.
and a bunch of Spirit of Durthu, which is always really cool. But yeah, I'm excited to do a bunch of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. I want to do Slaves to Darkness later this year, but specifically I want to do Archaon and the Varangard because it's really cool. Also incredibly expensive. But yeah, I think it's 9:45.
Yes,
I
is.
haven't
Yeah.
played. I haven't played with the Sylvaneth in 3rd edition yet. Wiggle Wiggles Bottom, because my army consists of 25 painted dryads. I haven't done the rest of it. I have 4,000 points of Sylvaneth to do, so I don't have to buy anything. But yeah, it is 9:45, so it is probably time to round up for this. Well, I guess it is the inaugural Sunday show because this is now a regular feature.
Yeah, well, I'll have my audio correct next week so it doesn't screw up on my channel, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll find out. But yes, thank you very much for joining us this evening. We hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the Sunday show.
Yeah.
Any last remarks from you, Adam?
No, just enjoy the rest of your time getting battered by Tau. No, I'm kidding. If you're a 40k player, don't enjoy getting battered by Tau. You'll be fine. It'll be interesting to see what people are coming up with, and if you are, it is an interesting time to be in 40k and AOS at the moment, as I said earlier, just because of all the new stuff that's coming out. So, I'm always interested to see what people build, what people, put together to take to tournaments and also just for regular fluffy games. So, if you guys have, ideas that you want to pursue, like Wiggles Bottoms earlier was talking, Wiggles Bottom, if I can say your name right, was earlier asking about Thousand Suns. I think now's a great time to go for it because the game's very good, the missions are very good, and it gives you the opportunity to really, pull out some things as the meta's changing that people just won't be familiar with, and therefore, really gives you an opportunity for good experimentation. So I think that's a great idea. And yeah, I will be doing, again, a small plug for me on my channel. I'll be doing videos. I've done a few on Tyranids. I'll keep them coming. And if you're interested in that, do go and check me out over at 5 Minute 40k on YouTube. And otherwise, obviously, as the Eldar stuff Codex comes out, obviously the leak's already out there, so I haven't really done much on that, but as the Eldar Codex comes out, I'll come up with some content on that as well, no doubt featuring Josh's thoughts on what is particularly spicy in the Aeldari Codex.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, but other than that, all I'll say is happy hobbying, enjoy it, and thanks for joining us on the stream.
Yeah, happy hobbying, guys. We'll see you all next week, same Sunday show time, same Sunday show channel.
Place. Yeah. See you later, guys.
See you later, guys. Thank you.